For several years, some ants from Jeju Island caused a lot of trouble for the Hunters Association of Japan. As a Japanese person who worked for the association, I didn't think very highly of Korea, but you changed how I felt. You showed me a different side, and I began to see things differently. Korea helped us. I am very thankful to you and your country. The speaker began to cry. From the bottom of my heart, I hope Korea never has to go through the terrible things we went through. Huge creatures were stepping on people. Cities were on fire, people were screaming, and everything felt hopeless. It hadn't been long since that terrible experience, and the man had lived through it himself. No one deserves to go through something like that. Jinwoo said quietly, that won't happen again. He didn't just say it as a hope, but as a strong statement. He had worked so hard to get stronger for this very reason, and now it was time to prove how much he had improved. The worker laughed at his words. Aha, I never thought I'd be envious of Korea, but I am jealous. You are there, Hunter Sung. You don't need to say nice things to me. I don't have much else to do except hunt magical creatures, so I'll keep coming to Japan as long as they appear there. Oops, you figured me out. I can't trick you, can I? I was just trying to make you laugh. The representative was happy that Jinwoo made things more cheerful, and he said goodbye to the Korean man with a sincere thank you. Please stay in touch. I will. Jinwoo put his phone away and then looked closely at the gate in front of him. It was very quiet, like the stillness before a big storm. If the schedule for the dungeon's opening hadn't changed. There were about 6 days left. Jinwoo's eyes gleamed in the darkness. Let's go down. Kree, with a powerful flap of his large wings, Kaizel began to descend. People noticed the change the next day. The special doorways had vanished, and new ones hadn't appeared since the huge doorway showed up in the sky above Seoul. People weren't sure if this was a good thing, or a bad thing, but some were happy about it, like President Woo and the Hunters Association of Korea. After carefully listening to the report, Jinchul made a decision. Let's call all the hunters in Korea to Seoul. Sir, that might be too dangerous. If a hidden gate opens and monsters escape, then what about calling half the hunters and leaving the others where they are? Jinchul hit the table with his hand. Bang. Everyone was scared by the angry reaction from such a powerful hunter. Jinchul showed his teeth, looking very upset. Do you think we have time to worry about what might happen? Everyone in the meeting room became quiet as Jinchul pointed toward the window and spoke loudly. This is a situation we've never faced before. Even if we use all our resources to stop this, there's still no promise we'll succeed. He looked around at everyone in the room. I will completely accept blame for any problems that happen elsewhere, even if it means losing all my possessions or risking my life in a fight. After he showed how determined he was, no one questioned him. Sometimes leaders have had to make very difficult choices during dangerous situations, like punishing teammates who didn't follow orders. Disobeying could put the whole team at risk of failing or getting hurt. Doing something wrong outside of a safe place like a dungeon would be a serious offense, but dungeons had their own special rules. Dangerous adventures into dungeons were real fights for survival, not games. Now a dangerous conflict was starting, not deep underground, but right where they lived. Time was very important, and Jinchul was a skilled hunter who wouldn't waste any time listening to arguments. Tell all our hunters to come to Seoul right away. No one who can fight should be excused. Because of Jinchul's orders, every Korean hunter came to Seoul. It was a strange thing to see. The streets of Seoul were very crowded, because people were leaving the city and hunters were arriving to defend it. The Hunters Association and the government asked people who lived near the large floating gate to leave, to stay safe from possible damage. While watching the news about the evacuation, Jin-woo looked at his mom. Shouldn't you and Gina go somewhere else too? Our neighborhood is safe from the evacuation order. It seemed Ko-yu didn't plan to leave Seoul. Their old apartment building was on the edge of the city, so the magical creatures would have to get past the hunters protecting the area to reach them. Jin-woo would have been unsuccessful in protecting the area. Kyungi believed the danger wouldn't come close to them. Jin-woo smiled back and decided not to worry about it anymore. Kyungi and Jin-woo were sitting on the floor near the couch. Around a small table, Gina was on the couch, holding her knees close to her chest. She looked at her brother. You don't have to go. An official request had gone out for hunters, but Jin-woo already lived in Seoul, so it didn't concern him. That's just for hunters traveling to Seoul. They need to check in with the organization when they get here. Oh, Gina nodded as she took a plate of apple slices from her mom. Actually, Jinwoo felt uneasy about staying and doing nothing right now. He wanted to become stronger, but there weren't any monsters around, and he hadn't gotten any new invitations to special areas since he defeated the architect. His family was glad he was home more, but he really wanted to practice. Should he skip the daily task and go to the difficult area? It sounded appealing, but it might not be the best choice. He felt like he was facing something unknown, just like the gate in the sky. He didn't know what trouble he might find in the penalty zone. The chance of something bad happening was small, but there was still a possibility it could stop him from continuing. He didn't need to take any extra chances right now. So he decided against that plan. He needed to find a different way to test Kamish's wrath. But how? Jinwoo was thinking hard when he saw the Hunters Association building on TV. That gave him an idea. Jinwoo's eyes lit up, and he started to smile. Ring. The other person answered quickly, as they always did. Yes, Hunter Sung. This is Jinchul Wu. I guess I should call you President Wu now, right? Jinchul laughed a little, looking embarrassed. You can call me whatever you want. I don't really feel like a president yet, so it's still strange to be called that. After they said hello, Jinchul's voice became more serious. Did something happen? I was worried to hear from you after so long. Jinchul had been watching for trouble with the association, so a call from such a powerful hunter made him nervous. It's not a big problem, but Jinchul swallowed hard. What Hunter Sung considers not serious could be really bad for us. The more calm he seems, the more likely it is that something is wrong. Jinchul tried to relax and listen, as Jinwoo paused for a moment, but it really wasn't a big deal. Can I use the association gym? Even though he was very busy, Jinchul walked Jinwoo to the gym at the Hunters Association. As you can see, this is how it looks right now. Jinwoo frowned. He had hoped the gym would be a peaceful place where he could be alone, but it was already full of people who were hunting monsters. When he saw the weapons they were carrying, Jinwoo remembered the group had stored extra supplies in the gym. Are you giving weapons to the hunters who need them? Yes. President Go planned for a situation like this. Jinwoo nodded. He wanted to show everyone who thought the Hunters Association wasted money that they were actually prepared. They had been saving weapons for a time when they would be needed. You could feel the excitement as the hunters put on the borrowed equipment. Just then a large hunter looked at Jinwoo while trying to put on a special armored sleeve. Huh. He was surprised to see the most famous hunter in the world standing right there. He blurted out, Hunter Jinwoo Sung. What? Hunter Sung is here. The hunters turned around and there he was. Jinwoo stood next to the president of the Hunters Association. Watching them, the gym became very quiet, and the air felt thick with anticipation. The man standing before them was very skilled at what he did, and it was amazing to see him in person. It was much more impressive than watching him on TV. Their hearts started to beat faster when they looked at someone so talented. Boom, boom, the hunters were getting excited. Some people looked at him with jealousy while others looked at him with respect. He finally understood why Jinchul had wanted to talk in person instead of over the phone. The hunters who had come together didn't have much money for good equipment. Being called here so quickly was probably stressful for them, so the new leader of the Hunters Association wanted to cheer them up by introducing them to their most powerful friend. From the excited look on their faces, the plan had worked well. Jinchul had been the leader of the surveillance team for a long time, and his quick thinking always impressed Jinwoo. Jinchul nervously rubbed his neck as Jinwoo understood what he was trying to do. So Hunter Sung, why did you need the gym? Jinwoo pretended to pull something from his pocket, but he actually got it from his inventory. I'm going to use this. Jinchul tilted his head at the seed in Jinwoo's hand. And what is this? If you plant this in the ground, a magical creature that looks like a tree will grow. I need to test something on a magical creature. Did you say a magical creature would grow? Jinchul's eyes grew wide, as Jinwoo nodded. A tree-like magical creature had dropped this seed while making a final sad sound. If they didn't destroy the seed, another magical creature would grow from it. Tree-type magical creatures were very tough, and could withstand a lot of damage, so hunting them repeatedly wasn't worth the effort. Jinwoo had destroyed all the seeds from these creatures except for one he took from the strongest one. He kept the seed with him, hoping he might find a way to use it later. These magical creatures had very tough skin, almost like they were wearing iron armor, so Jinwoo had named them ironclad trees. He thought one would be perfect to test out his new daggers. But there was a problem. Jinchul said people would be scared if they saw this creature, especially right now. Jinwoo understood and agreed. That's why I need a place that is private, quiet and strong. Only hunters were allowed into the gym, and it was built to be very sturdy so they could practice without being worried. Jinwoo looked back at the other hunters. Many of them held their weapons tightly and glanced at him, feeling hopeful when they saw him. But things aren't working out. Jinwoo shook his head, feeling let down. He could go to an empty part of Japan, but it was too far to travel there just for this, and he didn't want to waste his special ability. Jinwoo wondered what could happen in the next 2 hours. He was just about to leave when Jinchul made a decision. Okay, what did you say? I'll change my plans for this afternoon and let you use the gym. After everything you've done for us, it's the least I can do. The previous President Go had even changed laws to help Jinwoo. He said they couldn't ask such a skilled hunter to risk his life if they weren't willing to offer him at least that much in return. Jinchul knew he should let Jinwoo use the gym since he was taking over for President Go. Are you sure it's alright? Jinchul smiled at how considerate Jinwoo was. Even though it doesn't look like it, I'm the leader here. I decide when the gym is open or closed. He clapped his hands to get everyone to listen and called out. Who takes care of the gym? Me, sir. Jinwoo noticed the worker quickly walking toward them, and realized that getting a better job was the key to getting what you needed. Thomas looked out the window of his fancy hotel room at the busy Seoul streets, filled with cars leaving the city. Laura came up behind him with her packed suitcase. Will you stay here, sir? Yes. Thomas tapped the window, pointing to the gate. How could I leave when that large creature is there? It is very big, but beautiful. Laura was used to Thomas being a little different, but she was surprised he would call something so scary and strange beautiful. Thomas turned to look at the confused manager. Anything that makes me feel excited is beautiful. He put his hand on his chest to feel his heartbeat. Thomas's heart raced every time he looked at the gate. He thought the fiery dragon, the enormous gate, and Hunter Sung's strength were all amazing. Thomas wasn't like most people. Laura laughed and shook her head. Thomas lowered his hand and smiled. Even if I went back to the United States, what would I do if the doorways stopped appearing? But the people in charge of the hunters are concerned about you. They were worried about Thomas. He laughed thinking about anyone caring if he was safe. Hearing that made Laura smile. There really wasn't a safer place than being with Hunter Sung. Everyone knew the Hunter Command Center had asked Jinwoo to protect the best hunters in the world. Thomas smiled at Laura, who was too surprised to speak, then looked back at the huge gate shaking gently in the sky above Seoul. If they didn't stop it now, there would be no future for people. If Jinwoo couldn't finish this fight, the same terrible thing would happen again and again, 8 more times. Who could stop those powerful beings? Not Thomas, or even skilled hunters like Zigeng Liu from China. It seemed impossible. That's why I need to see it happen myself, Thomas said, looking at Laura's reflection in the window. This could be the end of everything, or the start of something new. Jinwoo walked to the center of the big empty gym. This was a good spot. He placed the seed on the floor and carefully poured water on it. He checked again and again to make sure this was all a magical creature needed to grow. It didn't need any dirt or sunlight. Crick, Kweli tinned. The seed quickly turned into a tree, and it sounded like bones were cracking. Wow. Even though he had seen this happen before, it was always amazing. Tree-type magical creatures were very strong and could live even in tough places. Jinwoo moved back to a safe spot. Kweli tin. The young tree kept growing, and in just a few minutes, it became a huge creature, whose head almost touched the ceiling of the gym. Kweli tin. Jinwoo didn't pay attention to the tree's loud screech and called out his pet, Burui Tin, who had recently become stronger. Come out. Buru rose up from the ground. My king. Jinwoo noticed Buru looked different now. He didn't have an insect's hard shell. Instead he wore black armor that fit tightly and made him look strong. But something else had changed too. The dark smoke around Buru was much thicker. It wasn't just a light mist anymore. It looked like real flames. His power was amazing. Jinwoo looked at Buru's information screen. Buru LV. Max Marshal rank. A marshal is the leader of an army, and there can only be one. If more than one soldier becomes a marshal, they need to decide who is in charge. Only Greed and Igrees, who are almost generals, could possibly challenge Buru for the top position. Jinwoo thought it would be interesting to watch the 3 soldiers fight for the highest rank. He pointed to a tree in front of them. Buru, attack it with all your strength. Following Jinwoo's command, Baru grew bigger and roared loudly. Scrupulous. Baru's armor changed to fit his stronger body. He grew to be twice his normal size, then walked quickly toward the tree. He started to run, heading straight for the ironclad tree. Crash! Baru's eyes got big. He thought the tree would break, but he only made a hole as deep as his hand. This surprised the soldier who had easily defeated very strong magical creatures before. But ironclad trees were famous for being very hard to damage with normal attacks and were strong against anything that wasn't magic. This was exactly what Jinwoo wanted. He was happy with what happened, and told Baru to move. Step aside. Baru moved back as Jinwoo brought out 2 special daggers from his bag. They appeared in his hands with a whooshing sound. Okay. The ironclad tree spun around, trying to find whoever had heard it. It saw Jinwoo and started walking toward him. Jinwoo noticed this monster wasn't very fast. It mostly just had tough skin. Still, that toughness was impressive. He wondered how well his special attack would work. Dark energy flowed from his fingertips and covered the daggers. He needed to use a lot of force. As soon as he decided this, the daggers became incredibly heavy, like holding 1,000 weights. His arms and shoulders ached from the effort. Now he would see what 1/500 attack power could do. The blades of the daggers began to shake as they gathered energy. The ironclad tree had reached Jinwoo, and he looked at it carefully. He quickly turned his knives around to hold them in a different way. Let's not rush into this. He swung one knife across with his right hand. Whoosh! The sound of the air moving quickly was followed by a thud as something fell to the floor. Huh! The ironclad tree looked down to see what had fallen. One of the tree's large branch-like arms had been cut off, and was now on the ground. The magical creature found the cut spot where tree sap was flowing, and let out a very loud roar. The tree seemed to be hurt, but Jinwoo was very happy. He looked with surprise at the dagger that had cut through the thick branch easily. Wow, all it took was a light swing. Jinwoo could chop at a tree with the dagger forever, and it still wouldn't hurt a normal tree, let alone the strong boss monster. It was very easy to cut through. The dagger also felt good in his hand. He hadn't felt this happy about a weapon in a long time. My king. Baru called to him quickly. I know, Jinwoo said calmly as he looked up. The ironclad tree was very angry now. It had already lost one of its branches, and Jinwoo quickly sliced at it again. The tree raised its remaining branch to try and hit Jinwoo, but it was too slow. Another quick slice with Kamisha's wrath, and the tree cried out. It had lost both of its branches. That was great. Jinwoo nodded, pleased with what he had done. He had practice with the daggers, swinging them gently. Now he wanted to see how well they worked when he used all his strength. The daggers were special because they were made from dragon bone, weren't they? Jinwoo gripped the dagger tightly and put magical energy into it. He used more magical energy. Then he used even more. When he put all of his power into his right hand, he could see a dark energy around the sword growing bigger and brighter. From Baru's view, it looked like the energy was bending everything. How could that happen? Baru quickly stepped back. Even though he knew the attack wasn't meant for him, its great power made him move back a little. Baru looked at his shaking hands. My lord Baru had always felt loyal to Jinwoo, but now he felt sorry for someone else for the first time. The ironclad tree didn't know what was going to happen to it, as it roared loudly. A loud scream filled the air. The monster's eyes were red and fixed on Jinwoo. Its mouth was enormous, as big as the doorway of a building. It moved forward, trying to swallow Jinwoo completely. Jinwoo sent all his magical energy from his dagger. Go, he shouted. He used all his power, just like he told Baru to do. Jinwoo put all his energy into the attack, moving his entire body. But something didn't feel right. He quickly realized something was wrong. A sharp sound filled the air. A dark energy shot out from the dagger, cutting through everything in front of it, like the sharp claws of a wild animal. Jinwoo's improved vision let him see exactly how quickly the energy broke the ironclad tree. No, the strong power of the weapon left deep marks on the gym floor and walls behind the tree. Wow, Jinwoo couldn't believe his eyes. Crack! Small pieces of concrete fell from the large cut in the wall until the whole section fell down, unable to handle the damage. Rumble. Thud. The gym walls were made stronger with magical energy so hunters could practice without being careful. But one side of the wall still collapsed from just one hit. Jinwoo stared at the broken pieces on the ground, shocked. Was this what the system meant when it said how strong weapons could be depended on the person using them? These magical daggers, made from the remains of a dragon, were truly powerful. My king. Baru was so happy to see his king's amazing power, that he fell to his knees in front of Jinwoo. Someone speaking was very impressed by another person's strength and ability. Sadly for his mom who enjoyed watching shows about the past, Jinwoo almost decided to stop her from watching them.
He understood why Baru was so upset.
Jinwoo's heart was beating quickly too because of this amazing power. These were signs of Kamish's wrath,